Just waiting to see if it's actually working. It's doing that thing again where it's saying unable to connect, and I have no idea why, but it looks like I'm on. So it was only the third attempt this time. I haven't turned down the sound, I don't think. Oh yeah, there we go. Just like me incense, because I'm a bit behind today. I didn't realise the time. But yeah, anyway. How is everybody? How are we all doing? It's the turn of the week. I'm sure this day comes around quicker and quicker every single week that passes, because it doesn't seem 5 minutes since I said that last week. And I think I said the same thing last week as well. So let's do our usual welcomes and hellos to everybody who we've got joining us. Wow, you lot have been busy chatting. So we've got Kimberly, Marina, Luna, Sandra, Hen, Patsy, Jackie, Stray Cat, The Crone's Intuition, Claire, Chris, everybody's talking, Merrick, Jamie, Annie, Kim, who else have we got? Shane, I like that, cover all bases. Good morning, afternoon or evening. Marina, Sean, Tammy Pie, Tech, Christina, Raven, Naomi, Scorpion, Intuition, Wiccan, I think I've said Christina, Shay, hello Shay, I've not seen you for a while, Emperor's Oracle, Trisha, Zane, Stephanie, Juliet, Mima or Mima, Elle, Bramble Bear, Ziffer, Zulfa, sorry, I keep saying Ziffer every time, Mendy, and we've got Sel, Maharet, Rob, Tara, Nicole, Elaine, Anns, Freddie, and Ness. Oh, and Barely Balanced. Barely Balanced. So, how is everybody doing today? I've had a busy day at work. It's purporting to be the hottest day of the year today in the UK, but it took a while. It took till about 3 o'clock. We had cloud over for a lot of the day, and I only opened my window about an hour ago. So I've lit a different incense today, so I'm not being smoked out as much as I was yesterday. Just pre-recorded second edition A Spacious Tarot. So excited. Juliet, is there any differences? I know there was correcting one of the cards, weren't they? But any particular differences with them? It's super chilly here today. And it's hot where Sandra is. I need the Spacious Tarot. I know, it's gorgeous though. I brought that astrological deck I saw earlier on your channel. Oh, you bought it? Yeah. It's over on the sofa at the moment. The Astro Soul Oracle deck. It's beautiful. Really beautiful. The production quality of it is really stunning. So, so that's good. I'm not sticking, am I? Am I buffering? Pouring with rain in Alberta, Canada. I don't know about the differences because you didn't get the first edition. Okay. Sorry if I've missed anyone. Trying to deal with a huge hornet that has just flown. Oh, hornets. And Ellie has the Astro Soul deck as well. You are buffering. Surprise slags. Hello all. Hello Lucian. You're good now. Okay. No buffering here. No buffering here for Shane. So it's only buffering in some places. It did buffer on mine. That's why I asked the question. My camera, it's not right either today, is it? It's a different position, but anyway, sorry if I made you a bit dizzy there. And there's I'm lagging. See, on mine, I'm buffering. So, no buffering. Now I'm buffering. Only buffered briefly here. Buffering every now and again. Why does it do this? And yeah, I don't know if anybody else is goes live on their phone, but every single day now, I set it up and I go live and I appear and I go, you know, hey up me ducks, and then it goes to a black and white screen that says unable to connect at this time. Every single day. And I don't know why it's suddenly doing it, whether it's my phone or no. Yes, buffering in Devon on and off. Nothing new here though. Mythical Creatures shows that it was delivered, but I didn't get it. What do I do? Ask for the tracking and see if you can track it, or contact Karen over at Baba Studios and see if there's anything they can do. Tammy Pie, they're really good at responding. But if it's saying it's been delivered, it's word of mouth. Yeah, kind of whether it can be proved it hasn't or not. It's your word against theirs, I suppose, but the tracking might show. And I've had it before where they've said they've delivered something and they haven't, and then it's come a couple of days later. So only once or twice that's happened, but not buffering anymore. We will continue then as we are. I hope you'll be riffle shuffling today, Simon, in spirit of cardstock talk. I can't riffle shuffle, and you know I can't riffle shuffle. You're being a minx. Well, let me grab this deck. So a few people have mentioned that I did a walkthrough video today, which is the Astral Soul Oracle. And the production of this deck is absolutely beautiful. It's got that rose petal feel for the box. It's got the gold gilding. It's a beautiful, beautiful box. Even the business card that you get is in rose petal. Really, really stunning. The cards come already edged, and they have these beautiful gold foil. These are the backs, and they are really lovely, really lovely. I haven't bought this deck. It's been sent to me by the creator to do a review, and they're stunning, but the cardstock is phenomenal. And it kind of prompted me to talk about this subject, because I always remember when I first found this community and I started to watch walkthrough videos and unboxing videos, and I remember thinking to myself, why is everybody so obsessed about cardstock? You know, they're going, oh, the cardstock. And it's not something I'd ever really considered before. And now I find myself all the while saying, oh, cardstock is really good. Or, you know, like I would give Llewellyn a bit of a hard time. Oh, the cardstock is a bit naff. I don't know why I'm showing you these cards again. There is a walkthrough up, but they feel gorgeous. These are really high quality cards. Hi, Amanda. I used to think that too, Simon. Yeah, it's like, I couldn't understand why it was a big deal until I started getting lots of decks. And then, because I'd had a few oracles and I've had soul cards and I've got the RWS and things like that, I then started to think about decks I'd already got. I was thinking, oh yeah, that cardstock is a bit naff when you compare it to this. But I suppose if there's a person who's, if there's a person who's only got one deck and only wants one deck, does the cardstock actually make a difference? I think those of us who collect quite a few decks then start to compare and contrast, don't we? Can anyone compare older Pagan Otherworlds with the new one? Someone said the cardstock has changed. Yeah, I heard that. I do have 2 copies of Pagan Otherworlds, and it is one of the decks that I want to talk about. But I can't compare because this is the old one. I can certainly show the old cardstock. But I did hear that they use a different printer now, but I'm not sure how different that is. I never wondered about cardstock either. I really didn't give it much thought unless I paid a lot for the deck. It's a Stray Cat. The Golden Thread, Bohemian Gothic Mini, Playful Hearts, Musterberg. Yeah, I'm going to show some that I think, for me, are really nice cardstock. But I wanted to illustrate first where we get a little bit kind of like, oh, the cardstock difference. So, Anna Kay, as you know, this is the mass market edition, and it's by Llewellyn, and we know Llewellyn. And I keep saying, if anybody's watching from Llewellyn, please do something about your cardstock, because I mean they've really improved the boxes. Because look at that for a box. I keep it in a little baggie. But this is the mass-produced Llewellyn. Becca showed it on her channel because she was backing it, and these are really, really thin cards. Thankfully, you can still buy, which is quite unusual, I think, the indie version from the creator, from Anna Kay's website, and you can see the difference in thickness. This is the indie version, this is the mass, and yes, it's a little bit smaller, but it's a lovely sized deck. But the cardstock is really, really nice. And I think it's when you've got 2 together that you can compare, that you can really see how the cardstock makes a difference. That said, thicker isn't always better, believe it or not, because there are some people who like to riffle shuffle and things like that, and they prefer thinner cardstock. There's the difference between the two. Thicker border, titles within a border at the bottom, but cardstock compared to the mass. So that's an illustration how cardstock can make a difference. But if people, you know, do the riffle, then maybe a thinner cardstock is preferable to them. My worst is the English Magic. I got rid of it. It's terrible. But it was very cheap. You see, well, I paid £20 for mine. And for mass, that's not that cheap. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, it was really, really bad. Are the price of indie decks usually better cardstock? Yeah, usually indie. It's not always the case, but usually if you're buying an independently produced deck, you get better cardstock. However, mass-produced or publishers, what do you call them, printers, whatever they're called, publishers, have really cottoned on a lot now, with the exception of Llewellyn, because you are getting decks like this one that's been out just recently, which is the Shadowland Tarot, and it's produced by Red Feather, which is a subsidiary of Schiffer. Schiffer was known for their thick cardstock, but glossy, huge borders. Now they go in with matte, borderless, and it is really good quality. I have noticed that my gilding is starting to flake a little bit because I've been using this deck every single day since I've got it. But this is a really nice mass-produced cardstock. So I'm hoping that more, publishers are going to start making nice decks on nicer cardstock. And also, this is Schiffer. This is my trimmed version of Tarot of the She. These are out at the moment because they're my morning and night decks. And again, you can see the difference in thickness now. This is both schiffer, so they go in with better cardstock as well. Becca says the at has stopped working on my keyboard, so I can't tag anyone, but hello to everyone who said hi. Right. So you had to put at because obviously you can't even do the symbol because it won't work. So I do think that publishers who do mass-produced decks are getting better. So let's talk about a couple of favourites. Everybody seems to go on about the True Black Tarot. This was the first time I saw that skin tone, that rose petal type finish. It's one of the thickest decks I have. It is a monster. He edged them all by hand. And the reason why it was one of the first is because I was sent the prototypes 13 months before they were available. And I'd only just started a channel, so I was blown away, but he'd been following me on Instagram and he sent me the prototypes and I'd never felt anything like it. And he wanted to rush to get it out because he was the first to come up with this as a cardstock, but then Luminous Void, I think, beat him to it. But these are the backs and it's really beautiful. These are thick cards. These have got to be 400 GSM because it is such a thick deck. It is very hard to shuffle, but you can do it. It helps me because I've got big hands. But again, really nice cardstock in my opinion, but it might not be for everybody because it might be too thick. But that touch is really nice. And for me, I'm very much a sensory person. So smells, things that are beautiful to the eyes, touch, I really love it. And the other deck that I mentioned, and I'm not going to show every type of skin tone, rose petal, whatever we want to call it, but this was the first one. But I want to show this one. This is the shuffle edition. I do have the large edition as well. But in terms of cardstock, I think this is absolutely beautiful. Not just the thickness of the card and that feel of the card, again, that skin tone or rose petal, but the whole aesthetic to this. I love the shape of the card. I love the backs. I think they're beautiful. I love that gilding. With little gold sparkles. It's like a matte gold. It is just a superb deck. And the cardstock isn't too thick. It's not as thick as True Black. It's got some flex in it, but it's really, really nice. Is the blush still available? The blush. I'm not sure what the blush is. What are you thinking of buying, Shane? What have you seen? What's already on your list? This one or the True Black? I love this one. This is, again, a Marmite of the tarot world because not a lot of people love this, but I do. I think it is really, it's like looking at think blocks. You really study the images and you see different things in them. It is so beautiful. Oh, really, really beautiful. So I love it so much. First time I saw it was when I was up in Scotland at Elaine's, and I was like, oh, when I get back, I've got to get it. So I did. Did I hear Marmite? Oi, Donna, how are you? You could buy it for Jamie. Oh, there's a suggestion. So yes. And even the box and everything has gorgeous cardstock on it. So they're the ones that are kind of rose petal. And then there's kind of an in-between one. So this is one of Becca's favourites. We both got this on the same day. We ordered around the same time and they arrived on the same day. And it's really beautiful because it's got this rose gold effect to it. interestingly, they've got a couple of plastic cards in there as advertisement cards, but the deck isn't plastic. But the cardstock for this is really nice. It's got lots of flexibility in it. It's not rose petal like the box, but it's got this beautiful holographic edging on it, and it's just really nice. It almost looks plastic, but it's not. And this deck has some incredible images to it. It's beautiful to shuffle. It feels nice. It's kind of like in between. Look at that, the Four of Cups. So this deck is called the Wheel of Fortune, and the colours in it are really stunning and vibrant. Look at that. What deck is that? This is the Wheel of Fortune. You know Ivy, who's in China, who's doing the Neo Rider, and she's got 4 versions coming out anytime. This was her first deck, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it wasn't expensive. Becca, can you remember how much we paid? I don't think it was more than £30, was it? It wasn't too bad at all. And I don't use this as much as I should, really, because it is stunning. It's a really beautiful deck. I love that 6 of Swords. Look at that shadow. So there's our 2 of Swords. Looks lovely. It is lovely. I love the energy of that Knight of Wands. Look at that orange fiery. Anyway, we're not talking about images. We're talking about cardstock. Put a deck in my hand. Look at the moon. And the Hermit. I love the Hermit card. Yeah. So I don't even know if it's still available. Where can I find this deck? It was off Etsy. The Wheel of Fortune Tarot. And there is a website here, but it's really tiny. This is where I need my old friend. It's www.wheeloffortunetarot.com. Stunning artwork, absolutely stunning artwork. Even things like the World card is really beautiful. So, yeah. Lovely. Do you want to see the Death card? Oh, El's put a link. Thank you, El. Donna says, Simon, I didn't want that deck when you and Becca first got yours. We're showing it, but now I'm feeling it tickle my debit card. That's the thing, isn't it? Decks do speak to us at different times. That's why I'm reluctant to let some go now, because I've let decks go in the past, and then I thought, oh, I watched somebody else talk about it. I think I'm ready to work with that. Somebody mentioned Pagan Otherworlds, and there are 2 decks that I've got here by the same printers, which is Pagan Otherworlds and Carnival at the End of the World. They are by Expert Playing Card Company, and I nearly broke the seal then on it. And Pagan Otherworlds is just, I edged this myself in that metallic blue. I've also got one in gold. This at one time was my favourite cardstock ever. It was one of the very first decks that I got before I started a channel, and I was like, this is heaven. It is linen, and at the time there weren't many decks that were being done on linen, but it's got this kind of durability to it. It's really hard to describe. It just feels such good quality. Like a really superior playing card. You know, if you spend quite a bit on a nice bicycle playing card deck, it is like that. And it's stunning. It's really beautiful. This one's still in order from when I did the Throwback Thursday, because I have my gold version 1 out with me. This is just the one I keep as a backup, so it's still in order. But this cardstock is just wonderful. Really, really good quality deck. And if anybody's like, you know, I did once pose a question as, you know, is this the most beautiful tarot deck ever? And I think it quite possibly could be. I used to have a copy of this out on display when I used to have the wall rack. And it's just, there's just something so beautiful. It's fine art. Stunning. Look at the lion there, the King of Wands. So, really, really good cardstock. To me it is. What, the most beautiful deck? Mendy. And Carnival at the End of the World is exactly the same. Not one of my favourite decks, and this is one that I talked about last week. I love the backs, where I said, you know, it was an underused deck. But again, it has exactly the same linen. Did you hear that? Linen cardstock. And exceptional quality. So, decks by Expert Printers. Is it Expert Printers? Is that what they're called? The Expert Playing Card Company of New York. They do these wonderful quality decks. And Mendy, was it you who was showing another deck by the same company in a recent video? I seem to recall, and I said, oh, I've not heard of that deck before, and you said it was by the Expert Playing Card Company. If it wasn't, then I'll try and think of who it was. Yes, you may steal it. What you stealing? I'm getting smoked out again. Dame Darcy. I think this is beautiful cardstock. This is the box. It does have that rubbery feel to the exterior. Again, beautiful matte gold gilding. It doesn't have, I don't know how to describe this. The quality of these cards are these are the backs, which is beautiful. They're nice and thick, but they've got the most gorgeous kind of soft, matte. There's no shine or anything. They just feel really high quality. Yes, the Playful Heart is exactly the same. So it was you, Mendy. Playful Heart. Really like the look of that deck. Elle is stealing my saying, buy now, cry later. Yeah, so again, look, there's no light reflected on these. It is creamy, it is buttery. This beautiful, beautiful matte. And then they released the Queen Alice tarot. And I was like, yes, it's going to be the same, exactly the same box design and everything. And it wasn't. It was gloss. And I was like, what have you done? Why would you print a deck of this quality? And then the Queen Alice just had this sticky, glossy, old Schiffer type cards. So yeah, Dame Darcy, also excellent cardstock. I can't not mention Baba Studios. Baba Studios do fantastic cardstock with all of their decks. If I see another walkthrough of the Fairy Tale Tarot, I will cry. This was a gift, a treasured gift. But all their cardstock is the same. This is the large, I can't even get my hand around it, the deluxe edition of the first print, the first deluxe edition. But it already had the cold stamping on, which the regular cards didn't. But their cardstock is, a lot of people say, oh, it's really thin. But I've mentioned before, there is a special core inside the cards. It's a special card. so that you do get that flexibility, but you get the durability as well. And this is just such a beautiful, beautiful deck, isn't it? I love the Justice card. Look at this Justice card. It's just stunning. The Wheel of Fortune is on Etsy for $42.89. It wasn't that much, was it, Becca? Must have gone up. Look at that fan. Yeah, so these are stunning, really stunning cards. But the cardstock, and as you can see here in this section, they're all my Baba decks, and they've all got really beautiful. I love that one. Cardstock. Can't not show the Ten of Cups. We've got to see the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. So Baba Studios also really good for Nope, says Becca. No, I think it was less than 30, just under 30, if I remember right. But that's the thing with tarot, isn't it? It's a buyer's market, or a seller's market even. Is it buyer's market or seller's market? Where, you know, the price just varies from due to demand. The more demand, the higher the price goes. So, Baba, beloved Baba. And then, just to look at some kind of, well, we'll look at plastic first. So, this is my Deck of the Bastard. Now, what I love about this is this version. I've got two versions. This version is the plastic. And I wasn't 100% sure on first what plastic cardstock would be like. I did show last week or the week before, and Shane bought it, the Golden Thread Tarot. That was my first plastic deck. This was my second. But the great thing about this is, you know, it never goes out of shape. You can't tear them. You know, if you spill something on them, you just wipe them clean. But because they're quite thin, they're fab. If you are wanting to practice, which I have practiced with in terms of riffle shuffling and that sort of thing, then I would recommend a plastic deck. But Deck of the Bastard, for me, is just great. And what I said the other day is there's a real weight with a plastic deck. Even though they're thinner, it feels heavy in your hand. So beautiful. They probably say, oh, Simon is on, crank up that price. Oh, I hope not. Simon showed an Egyptian deck a few days ago, and I think that will be another Simon made me do it. Yeah, so plastic cards. What are people's... Has anybody got plastic decks? I know Shane has, but what are your thoughts? Do you like them? The other version I've got, because I've got two of these, the other one is in linen, and that's lovely too. But before all this happened, you know, I'd got a monthly slot where people could just ring up and book to do readings at a pub. And I just thought, this is the deck I'm taking. You know, if I'm going to be around people with drinks and things like that and anything gets spilt, you can throw these in the bath and give them a good soak, you know, and you're not going to lose the print or anything. I've been sitting here shuffling my plastic deck throughout this live. I recommend it for sure. Don't think I have any plastic ones. They are a little bit more expensive, but they're an investment because nothing's going to destroy these suckers, so they're there for life. A fire would destroy them, of course, melt them. Simon, I think some of the Neo Rider versions coming out are going to be plastic. Really, Patty? I wasn't aware of that, because I saw the printing process. But Ivy's gone quiet. She was giving updates, and the last update said it's on schedule for the 15th of May. Well, we're on the 20th now, so I could have done with a bit of an update. I love the old staining as well on them to give them that aged aged feel. That death card is going to be me when Dave sees my credit card statement. Do you find that plastic cards would easily scratch? No, not at all. Not at all. They've got like a smooth feel to them. I don't think they would scratch unless you got something really sharp. But that would happen with card or paper anyway, wouldn't it? That's brave, doing paper in a pub. Yeah, but you take your plastic deck. Tell us more about the pub readings. Well, there's a hiatus at the minute because of all our pubs are shut. But yeah, there's a pub called the Archer in Rainworth, and you can book me the first Sunday of each month to do readings. Okay, so what next? Il Meneghello. Let's look at Il Meneghello. So I remember being very surprised when I bought this deck from them, which is the Marsilia Classico, and it come glossy. I was like, Il Meneghello decks glossy. It is beautiful and I love it, but and the cardstock is good. It's a nice thick deck, but it's not what we're used to, is it, with Il Meneghello. One of my favourites is the Vachetta, as I mentioned when I did my decks the other week. These are the backs. The cardstock for this is wonderful. There are a couple, like I've got an Etruria, which is quite a scratchy cardstock, but this, it's on paper, like art paper, but it's got a lovely soft feel to it. It's really beautiful. That's one of my favourite Hermit cards. And the colours in this deck as well are just so sumptuous. Really lovely. Look at the sun card. How beautiful is that? So these are really nice. You have to be careful with these old reprints or recreations of vintage decks because they've got sharp corners. The devil, sorry, the death card, it's because I can see the next one, which is the devil. The death card there, the devil card, tower. So I just love the feel of that. My favourite cardstock from Il Meneghello is this one, which is the Visconti Sforza. This is an early 1990s copy, which I was able to buy from a friend, where it slides out and you've got this protecting fold. Cards are huge, but they've just got these traditional plain red backs, and the card is actual card, but they are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The gold in the early 90s is a lot more darker weight. What was it? This is the Visconti Sforza from Il Meneghello. There are mass-produced versions of this, so you can get one by University. What was the? Oh, I forgot what they're called now. They're not to hand either. But they do the Madrone. I forgot what they're called. Somebody help me. The university ones. If you can't remember, I'll get up and have a look. Simon, not the gold one, the one before on the art paper. Oh, that's the Vachetta. Il Meneghello Vachetta. Di Giovanni Vachetta. So yeah, these are really beautiful, but they're a beast. But look at that. absolutely stunning. Carey Yale was the Madrone version, wasn't it? But what is the one that was this version? They also do a small Visconti. They do, Mendy. Yeah. It's going to bug me, so I'm going to have to go and have a look. If I can find it. Sometimes I have to step back from my bookcase to get a better look to see them all in. Oh, there. Pierpont Morgan. I just seen it. Pierpont Morgan is the mass-produced version of this, and it's got a red back with like a marble effect in it, and the Carey Yale, which is the Madrone, has blue backs with the marble effect in it. He said it was the Visconti Sforza, right? Yes. So that amazing cardstock, and you always get good cardstock. But also my Bertie decks, I've got two, and these are really nice as well. These are the backs. Again, I love these. Look, they've got the gold flecks in them. So this is the Perrin, Tarochi Perrin. Get these lovely gold lame bags. He always puts a handwritten note in for you. He's actually a member of the Hermit's Cave as well, Giordano Berti. So he puts a little handwritten note in. You get a little book, and then Cartomancy of Marseille. So the Perrin Tarot book. And what Bertie's cardstock is they have a real lovely silky sheen to them. They just feel lovely to touch. So there's no rough surface. It's like silk. Don't know how he does it. It's really beautiful. And there's some gorgeous images in the Perrin Tarot. Really beautiful, old, traditional. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? The pips are stunning. I don't use this one nearly as much as I should, because it's really, really gorgeous. Gorgeous. Come back, Simon. Have I no buffering here? Frozen now. No buffering. So some people are saying I'm frozen and other people are saying I'm absolutely fine. So I'm not sure what to do. You're fine, says Becca. You're fine, says Lucian. If I'm fine, I'm just going to continue then. So yeah, so as I was saying, these are really beautiful, timeless images on this gorgeous cardstock. I'm nearly at the end anyway. The other one from Giordano Berti is the Solabusca. This is a challenging deck. When I did the decks that challenged me, I almost put this one in. I got this because I heard that Pixie was influenced by the artwork. Again, another little handwritten note. The bags, these cards are bigger, but they have that same, these are the backs, which are just beautiful backs. But they have that same, can you hear that? No, because it's just pure silk. It gives you the feel of old traditional art card, but it has a lovely silky feel to it. This is such a challenging deck to read with though. Beautiful. And then coming to the end, my two favourite cardstock decks. And it's not going to be a surprise to anyone, but I still find I have to mention them. I love the new Choice Tarot de Marseille cardstock. This has the nicest feel of any cardstock that I have, except for my favourite in a minute. It is nice and thick, but not too thick. There's durability, it's quite springy, but it just is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. He, as you know, is making an RWS, the new voice RWS. This is the new Choice Tarot de Marseille. The colours pop, really stunning, but the feel of the cards together are just, oh, heaven. Heaven in a deck. I love it. And if every tarot deck that was ever made, always from this point forward, came in this cardstock, I would be a happy man. I really would. And I just hope, really hope that his next deck, his RWS deck, is also in this type of card stock. And my favourite, of course, is my Blushing Fool, because this is just wonderful. It has a paper texture. There is no lamination. I mean, I love the images anyway because they're clear, the line work is beautiful, the colours are beautiful. It shuffles like an absolute dream. And I just love it. I love everything about it. The feel of the cards. They feel really beautiful, soft and luscious. There's the Fool with his little blush. So that's it, guys. That's my cardstock, the decks that I think have the nicest cardstock. I didn't want to focus on negatives and and yeah, I didn't want to focus on negatives and say, oh, look how terrible this cardstock is, because we know the decks that don't have brilliant cardstock. I just wanted to give an example of the cardstocks that I like and which decks you can get them in, whether it's the skin tone, you know, and there's others as well. There's like the Brady Tarot, as I mentioned, that also has that, and many others that has that nice soft rose petal. But the ones I like, and for the reasons that I like. All right, shall I pull a card for us all under my mountain of decks? What do you think of the 5-cent tarot card stock? I think it's nice. So my 5-cent tarot is here. So this is the 5-cent tarot. It also comes with a cloth, a nice reading cloth. This is the 5-cent. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I love the way it's edged. You could choose your own colour edging. I went with green for everything because I like uniformity. It's like a metallic green back. Lovely matte green edging. Cardstock's nice. It's like a linen feel, isn't it? The backs feel more linen-y than the front for some reason. It's like a stronger or sharper. But yeah, it's nice cardstock. It's really nice. I think my favourite finish is the linen finish. I did the green also, says Jonathan. Yeah, I just think having, knowing that the cloth, You know, green cloth, green back, green edge, and then the green bag to keep it in. It's just nice. I love the inside as well, really lovely. I like a bit of bling. I have to confess, I do like a bit of bling. Lovely bags as well. So, yes, thank you for mentioning the 5 cent. That is another one. And there's so many, you know, that are lovely. Love this deck. I know you do, Donna. Is it your soul deck? Are you going to do a VR to the soul decks? I chose Twilight Blue for the second. Yeah, there's different options, isn't there? There was a purple option, which I think is the one I would have gone for, being as I love purple. I've got everything green too. It's not my soul deck, but it's sure a good buddy. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what your soul deck is now then. Oh. Perhaps I should mention, while we're talking cardstocks as well, I do find, and I didn't at first, but I do find the rose petal, or skin tone, however you want to term it, cards, more difficult to shuffle if you're an overhand shuffler like I am. They do tend to jump a bit and catch on each other, like now. The more I talk about it, the more it'll do it. I did the French lavender for the second edition. Oh, you've got a second edition as well. See, I don't use the 5 cent enough to warrant a backup for it. I only get backups of my absolute favourite decks, the ones that I really don't want to be without. A bit sticky. It's just the way they kind of bounce off each other, because they feel a bit rubbery. They kind of bounce. We have breath. Every breath you take. And then I did that wasn't deliberate. I didn't mean to do that big out breath when I mentioned breath. But I guess, you know, what this card reminds me of, and what it kind of speaks to me about, is the fact that breath is everything, isn't it, to us? We can't live without breath. And, you know, we hear phrases, don't we, like, calm down, take a breath, or, you know, breathe if you're getting kind of anxious about things. And that's because the breath is the great regulator, isn't it? You know, it keeps our blood pumping, it keeps that regulated, and it's just our life force. But, you know, when we're thinking about breath, particularly if you're somebody who likes to spend some quiet time, you can focus on your breath, and then it helps you to find some balance. And whenever I start off meditations, I talk about the breath. Be conscious of the breath. Feel it entering your lungs and leaving your lungs, because it really helps you to focus on something that will never change. You know, while as long as we're alive, we'll be taking breath, drawing breath, and, you know, expelling breath. So yeah, just breathe. If things get a little too much, sit quietly and just focus on your breath, and it just helps to bring everything to a point of calm and of clarity. And, you know, we do our meditation on a Sunday with Jilly, and I live in the city centre, so I'm used to all the noises of sirens and cars and bells ringing and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't matter. You can practice mindfulness of breathing if you're sitting on a crowded bus with kids screaming and your anxiety levels are going through the roof. If you're on a long walk down a country lane or a high street, it doesn't matter. You can still focus on your breath, and you can still take that quality time out where you kind of calm down the clatter that's happening in your mind and just focus on the breath, particularly if you're feeling worried or anxious. So it's a great tool. People who say, I can't meditate, I can't clear my mind. Don't worry about that. Just count your breaths. Make sure your breaths are deep. I always try and say breathe in for 5, breathe out for 5. You know, then you're taking it steady and slowly. You won't hyperventilate or get anxious. So bring it down, but focus on it. And it concentrates your mind and it brings you back into the present moment. Okay, so. Oh, Juliet, thank you. That's a lovely compliment. Thank you. And you're all precious to me too. So thank you for that. All right, guys. So where are we? Wednesday. So there is no QuaranStream tomorrow. It will be Throwback Thursday, which will be at 8:05 or just after 8 o'clock, after we've done the clapping for carers. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to join me tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the Stretch Tarot by Joe Stretch. And then I'll be back Friday for QuaranStream. I don't know if anybody else is going live. I know Becca is tonight at 9 because it's the usual hump day chat that we do on a Wednesday. But yeah, I'm not sure if anybody else is going live or not. But thank you for joining me. I thought today would be a pretty quick one, but we've been on for almost an hour. So it's been lovely to spend this hour with you. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy your day. I hope you've got a day like we're having, which is absolutely beautiful, t-shirt weather. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.